they stopped filming in New Zealand. So apparently when we left the show, they told me we're gonna keep the sets, but then soon after they decided to stop filming in New Zealand completely. And they're moving there.
Who decided to stop filming in New Zealand?
I guess it was Hasbro. So apparently the set was destroyed. So I don't know that they have any plans to go back.
Yeah,
Although
and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, because it was
so good, and like everybody, like all they've ever asked for 30 years is, can we get the band back together? They want Mighty Morphin, and they wanted to see everybody in some way come together, and we finally almost everybody was there, and it was so good and so fun. It was so like such a great story. I thought there's no way. I mean, there's no way they're not going to do it. Yeah, and then
for it to be so well received as well.
Incredibly well received.
We were getting emails from like executives from Netflix going, "Oh my gosh, we can't believe it."
And we've never had this big of a turnout with emails and we were breaking records and
So it's like, hopefully somebody will go, you know what? Let's do some more Mighty Morphin.
We'll see.
I feel like you guys are constantly underestimated, and then they'd be like, I didn't know Power Rangers had this.
Exactly.
It's been 30 years.
32 years.
How many times we got approved?
Exactly.
Was it like when the mamas were beating each other up to get the Megazord? How did you not? We should have known then it was going to last 30 years. Fighting for Rangers.
How does it feel when you've got people who are coming up to you 30 years later with their kids and they're like explaining to kids like, these are my Power Rangers?
And they've already had that conversation at home. But it does feel pretty surreal. Like, we don't know who to talk to. Because, we're used to talking to the little kids, and then now the little kids come up and we're talking to them and they're fans, but the parents are standing behind them like this. Like, oh my God.
Look at me.
That is my childhood superhero. So it's amazing to have that much love.
Yeah, that's true. They turned 5 years old again. So I always like, people are always like, do you meet weird people at Comic Con? And I'm like, no, we like literally get love bombed for the whole weekend, and it's the best experience. And not everybody had a great childhood, so they'll tell us like, you guys saved my life, emotionally, and you were my friend, and it's like it's so deep, and it
gave me the life lessons that I needed.
They say that a lot. They're like, I had like a really rough childhood, and your show was always 30 minutes of escape every day, and I just want to come and say how much that meant, for people to say that kind of stuff, because back in the day when we were doing the show, there was no internet, there was no, social media, there was no way for our fans to really connect unless they mailed us a letter, and then we'd get thousands of those that we could never answer back. And anytime we ever met the kids, they were too shy to say anything, so they'd hide behind their mom and cry. Only now, once we've started like having this, connection where we get to see each other face to face, are they able to articulate what it really meant, and now we were able to really see. So it's actually really, cool for us too.
It's the best.
The other thing is,
we were so isolated with it.
Yeah, we were. The show we did a lot of PSAs, and so with those PSAs, we were teaching kids to be the best that they can be. So that was one of the great things I loved about Power Rangers, about the fact that we actually inspired kids to be the best version of themselves, so they could one day be a Power Ranger and be chosen as a teenager with attitude. So,
Do you have a favorite language you've heard the show dubbed in?
It's Spanish, because it's like, whoa, it sounds like a telenovela, and I'm like, who are these people? Like,
Steve, translate.
Yeah, it's Power Rangers. And everybody talks like that, even the women, and I'm a teenager, and it's like this grown woman voice. It's hilarious.
I was in the Dominican Republic in Santiago, and these kids found out I was there, so I was staying at my friend's house, and at 6 a.m. in the morning, there were kids outside the house going, Zack, they were calling me, and I'm like, oh my God, they're kids out early like birds. And so finally I go outside to go say hello to these kids, and they're speaking to me in Spanish. So my friend goes, hey, slow down, he doesn't speak Spanish. They're like, what do you mean he speaks Spanish every day on TV? I'm like, what do I say about that?
Oh, hola, amigos. That's all you got. That's hilarious.
Yeah. To see it like in German and see it in Portuguese and stuff was pretty funny.
Hilarious. Yes.
Hi, so you talked a lot about like PSAs and things you were teaching the kids. What did you take from your characters? Like what lessons did they teach? Because they teach a lot of lessons and a lot of things. What things from the characters did you learn and you take from them?
from our characters? Did we learn like lessons from our characters? I don't know. I would say the majority of the Power Rangers that I've known or have grown to know over the years are quality people. And so I find that a lot of the characters you find in the characters come from the people. Like Zack, my character Zack was protective, very protective, especially over women. The other two girls were, in any situation, Zack was going to step up first because you have to go through me to get to them. But they were powerful enough to go, that's all right, Zack, we got this, you know? So I know that in that sense, I guess, a lot of the things that the actors bring it to the character, you know, rather than the character bringing it to us.
Yeah, because we were so young. So I think when we brought our, like, you know, when you're learning how to act, you try to make it as natural as possible. And so I was a teenager. I had attitude. Like, it was like, that wasn't very far-fetched. I had graduated high school. And so I try to keep it as normal as possible. But he's right. Like, it's like, one thing I think is like, it just taught me that, you know, a woman can be powerful. Like, we were girl power before that was ever even a thing. And so for me in my life, I'm like, you got to ask for what you want. You got to speak up for yourself, you know. And no one's going to be your protector. You got to, you know, do it. And I'm like, if I can be a hero on TV, I need to be a hero in my own life. Right. So that's something I've done. Yeah.
What they say.
Hi, it's Domingos from the Horror News Source. I just want to reflect with you guys about the last 30 plus years and the legacy it's left in popular culture. Obviously, your characters of Rocky, Aisha, and Zack, they're not just characters anymore, they're legacy characters. They're kind of like Freddy Krueger to 11. They're literally that legacy character. And you've seen fan films, comics, and obviously there's people in various industries that grew up watching you guys. How does it make you feel that it's still long-standing after 30 years?
It's amazing, man. It's amazing. It's the biggest blessing, I think. You know, I've been working as an actor, professional actor for 30 years. So I started my career with Power Rangers, and then I joined Screen Actors Guild, and I've been working ever since. And I've created a lot of characters, but nothing ever compares to this little kid show that I did. You know, Power Rangers. Like I've been on shows that won not Academy Awards, but Emmys and Golden Globe Awards. And the fans, they watched that show. They thought it was amazing. But as shows go, they come and go. And like a lot of popular shows that you've seen were there for a moment. People loved it. They watched it every day. And then it goes 10 years later, nobody's talking about it. But Power Rangers is still here. Yeah. So to be part of that just is such an honor. And to know that I am part of pop culture is also amazing.
Yeah. Very humbling.
I know, and I've seen people like, you know, kind of step away, or people have asked like, oh, did you feel like you'd ever be typecast? Do you feel, you know, as a kid, it was like kind of cheesy? And I go, no, like it means so much to so many people. Why would I ever be ashamed of that? Like that is something I you know, am honored to be with, you know. And then like he said, all the people that we've met that have worked on the show are really good people. And so for me, it's just like, you know, to have been chosen out of the thousands, you know, it's just a really cool accomplishment that in my life personally.
Yes. Life achievement.
Yeah.
You know, like everybody wants to leave a mark on the world, right? And I feel like Power Rangers, like you throw a rock in the water, it creates these ripples. Power Rangers did that around the world. It created all these positive ripples around the world because the message that came from the show was, like, they called us teenagers with attitude, but we weren't teenagers with attitude because we were delinquent. We were confident. We were the best at what we could be, you know, and when we came together, we made an amazing team. So I love that.
Yeah. And I think like just losing Twee and currently losing Jason,
Frank, right.
It really just shows, like one thing I was like, we were obviously devastated when we lost Jason. But it just showed like what a legacy he left behind. Like I was like, wow, like, I mean, if you're going to leave your mark in the world, he did that, you know? Yeah. And so for me, I'm like, I'm just proud to be a part of that. Yeah. I'm proud to be a part of something that has touched people so deeply.
Yeah.
You know? See all these fans or people that love the show, I guess fans, with tattoos on their body.
Like crazy.
Of our images and our characters. And that is a wild thing to know that I'm on somebody's skin forever, you know?
Yeah.
And that they loved my character enough to make it that way. So
Immortalize it, right?
yeah.
It's insane.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
That's good. Very good question.
Any notable injuries sustained while filming?
No, thankfully, no.
I was that good.
He was that good. Well, what I will say is somebody, like when we got on the show, there was a show that shot next door to us, VR Troopers. So it was a really popular new show, and it was a spinoff kind of from Power Rangers. And one of their lead actors had broke his leg. And I remember we were like, oh my gosh, and they had to shut down production, and then they had to go into this phase where like they were shooting around him, and you know, and so they were really like, you guys cannot get hurt. And you know, and so was so the stunt team really was like awesome. They made sure. I know in the beginning we hear these horror stories that they went through all this stuff, and I was like, I'm so glad I wasn't in season 1 because I would have died. I'm a soft girl. I don't want to be in no dangerous situations. I want to pretend I'm tough.
It's surprising that none of us really got injured. I mean, Tweet hurt her leg. She hurt her leg in an episode, and then she had to be tender on herself. Like she hurt her knee, I think, in an episode. But we were put in positions to do crazy things. We did a live show at Universal Studios, brought out 30,000 people to the park in a day. Sold out 6 shows in an amphitheater where Michael Jackson would perform. And we had one rehearsal, I think one technical rehearsal, and even that wasn't right because like when the audience came in, like when we rehearsed with daylights on, you know, like lights, stage lights. And then when we had to do the show, it's like spotlights. So now you can't see the audience. You can only see the lights in your face. And we're jumping off a scaffolding and doing flips, landing on the mat, and then doing flips and kicks down the stage to center stage to take off our helmet. That was like not. It was weird. It was because
you shouldn't have been doing that.
We shouldn't have been doing that. And fortunately, we made it work. I mean, Austin St. John, who is a bit of an adventurer, he wasn't the biggest gymnast. Amy Jo was a gymnast. David was a gymnast. Austin was a martial artist. He wasn't a gymnast. He was learning, and he decided, I'm going to do a backflip off the scaffolding to the mat below, and he didn't know how to do that. But he did it anyway, and he'd do it, and he, like if you overdid it, he could have broke his neck. But he like kind of landed and then roll out of it, and it made it work. But it was like we were pushing ourselves to the limits. Yeah.
You met a kid this weekend that was there too.
Yeah, we did.
Really
cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
he was like, I was there at the Universal.
I've heard so many stories, and you were actually an 8-year-old that got to be there. 7.
That's the weird stuff when people come and they bring a picture and they're like a baby and you're like taking it and they're like you're like this is
you're
you?
the baby. Yeah, it's
and we're
crazy.
like, oh my gosh. So yeah, it's so weird, but.
Thank
you guys. Yeah.
Before you guys get up, let me just get a picture of you guys.
Yeah. It's morphin time?
Yes.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, action.